Hey guys, it's me back for another video. Um, and this video is going to be exposure about how narcissists, or narcs for short, pack up with each other to gain supply and gain control of victims, put them out of business, mess with them, etc., etc. So this picture, by the way, was done by the amazing Enzo CN. He has sent me a bunch of really cool CGI pictures, and I thank him for that. And I like this one especially. It's kind of like a warrior type picture, and that is the role that I have had to take, just trying to be a creative person and do my thing, surrounded by all these narcs from NYC, which was really, really hard. And in my family as well. So I was raised by two narcissists, so I had plenty of training, and by the time I hit New York, I was ready to deal with it. But I had to go way down the rabbit hole and really learn what was going on lately, because when resources get scarce, then these narcs behavior tends to go into overdrive, and you have to really pay attention to it. And that's something that I really didn't want to do. I just didn't want to have to pay attention to or see ugly behavior. And unfortunately, it requires all of us to do some serious study and put on our scholar caps and delve into the minds of the cluster B realm to really figure out what the hell is going on here. Because what you're doing, what you're doing when you refuse to learn about it is you're just you're losing valuable cultural treasures daily. And so basically, like, what will happen is there will be disadvantaged people. And when I say disadvantaged, I mean not in a monetary way, but maybe in a monetary way, but also they're physically, mentally, and emotionally just disadvantaged. Like, narcissists were born with a deformed brain, usually through heredity. It's a combination of heredity, poor nutrition, a bad environment, like with chemicals, pesticides, and stuff like that, such as in a city or in a really poor environment. Or it could just be severe abuse that caused them to be this way. But they've done studies on the narcissist brain, and it basically doesn't light up in the right places. It is a deformed brain. It basically does not light up in the normal section where human emotions reside. So stuff like empathy, friendship, like normal things don't happen for the narcissist brain. And what ends up happening is they mimic other people because they do feel pleasure, but they feel pleasure in causing negative emotions in others. And they go through idealization phases and then devaluation phases, in which the person that they idealize is brought way high up and then they're crashed way down, and it's all their mental disorder. It's the same person, but they first try to idealize, then try to demonize people and things like that. And the most dangerous situation is when they decide to pack up, because these deformed people with deformed brains can kind of sense each other, and they can look at another person and know if it's somebody like them. And what they will do is pack up to try to gain more supply and gain what other people have. So they will basically see a target and assess the target, and God forbid if it's somebody who's been abused before, or somebody who doesn't know the deal with these people, they're ignorant of the situation, or maybe they just don't want to see it. Maybe they want to believe the best in humankind, or they're just too busy or whatever. And now these narcs will pack up and try to destroy. And we have recently seen that in the situation with the festival that was attacked, and various promoters that have been attacked, event producers, movie producers, stars, like the list is endless. And these people are not perfect, but to destroy cultural treasures is a really messed up thing. And then the problem with narcs is that they appropriate, they don't create. So their brain is basically not a creative brain. And so what will happen is they will go to all the trouble of organizing all their flying monkeys, which flying monkeys are kind of like the flying monkeys from the Wicked Witch of the West and Dorothy. So in The Wizard of Oz, basically the witch had these flying monkeys that would do whatever she said. So basically, yeah, there are these really, really even worse damaged individuals who are beta narcs. So there will be like an alpha, and then there will be all these people who are following that alpha, and they do it for no other reason except for personal gain. Like, They basically either want to get supply from tearing down the target, and narcissistic supply is basically a pleasurable feeling that they get when they destroy. So it's a really, really bad problem, and that is part of the whole cluster B issue. And basically, once you figure out somebody that is cluster B, just stop hanging out with them. It's in your best interest, because these people will hurt the ones that are closest to them and gain supply from doing it. But that is another story. So basically, like, this alpha narc will organize all their flying monkeys and beta narcs underneath of them to try to appropriate what somebody else has. So if it's an event producer, what they're looking for is to take that person's customers and take their followers away from them and get them to go to their shitty night, which if it's a narcissist, their night is shitty because it's organized around them. Their event is basically just a bunch of narcissism. And what their goal is their goal is to try to make it so that there are no other choices, that everyone just has to go to their event. And you know, it doesn't work. It actually rots the scene. It rots the environment, because then when the only choice is a shitty choice, people either leave the city or stop being into that particular subject, or decide to have their own events at home or whatever. And but that person doesn't care. The narcissist only cares about their own stuff. And even if it makes their environment 10 times worse, they will easily do that rather than allow another person to get the recognition that they deserve. So who are these flying monkeys and beta narcs who are helping the narcissist? Well, they're usually people who are deficient. So I've seen beta narcs that are actually retarded. A lot of beta narcs have physical problems. They have mental and emotional problems, and they have issues that are preventing them from, you know, gaining success and basically being an extremely visible person. And so they have a vested interest in throwing in their lot, so to speak, with this narcissist, because if they all put their weight into talking crap and bad mouthing and stuff, the target, then they think that there's going to be more for them when that person is gone. And it's an illusion. There's never more for them when that person is gone. The only thing that happens is the last thing that's left is that crappy narcissistic person's stuff that they're doing, and that rots out their scene, but they could not care less. And so basically, like, extremely deficient people pack up into groups in order to attack people who have a lot of personal resources, intelligence, creativity, and stuff like that. And so you need to be on the lookout for this. Like, anytime you see somebody who's always going after people, or maybe they do it covertly, like they start to work with someone, and then within a couple months, that person is now under a smear campaign and nobody knows where it's coming from. And guess what? It's your new friend. It's your new buddy. And they don't want to see it. And a lot of people have a vested interest in helping the narc. They feel angry and upset that they have not gotten what they feel is the amount of recognition that they deserve. And now they see a way. They see a way to use this narcissist as a tool to strike back at what they perceive as the insult of other people being better than them. So it's really sick. And I think that if you find yourself in a narc-infested environment, if you are a creative person who has a lot to offer, just leave. Certainly go no contact on the narcissist. Like, certainly, you know, do what you can to block them out, block their flying monkeys. There was even an incident where a flying monkey went into a bar and has now caused problems purposefully in the name of their favorite narcissist, you know, serving them. And now they have caused legal trouble for somebody else that is long lasting and really, really bad, just by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And if they would have blocked the narcissist flying monkey, they wouldn't have this problem right now. And this is a problem that I had to learn very expensively when I first came to New York. I did have issues and problems with narcs, and I learned to just push them away. So that whole adage about keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, it is not true. If you keep a cluster B close to you, you're basically something extremely negative will happen if you keep a cluster B or a group of cluster Bs close to you. So if you have a weird feeling like, uh-oh, you know, if I say the wrong thing that I could be next, you know you're hanging out with a cluster B Narc Pack, and you're going to have to push away from them and just, you know, recognize what they are and don't make a big deal of it. Just stop, you know, hanging out as much and gradually fade away. And then eventually, you know, you will have new friends and you will not have to deal with the crap that's going on in their scene or what they're trying to do, how they're trying to destroy people, tear them down, and other crap like that. So, you know, you have been warned. And it's an ugly, ugly thing to have to talk about. I personally never knew that I was going to have to roll around in the muck and even consider the plight of people like this. And this is what they have done. Like, these deficient individuals have actually, you know, put the spotlight on them now. They want attention and they want people to pay attention to them. So they go around and they tear down existing structures, existing authority figures, and people who are doing a good job at what they do. And then they replace it with a shit job because they don't know how to do it and they're not creative and they're not the people that these ideas originally came from. And then what you have is a rotten scene and a Narc Pack that's dominating and going around destroying, and you don't know how to deal with it. So I'm telling you how to deal with it right now. Just push them away. Just don't go. You have to go no contact. So basically block on all social media and do not talk to them if they try to call, and do not hang out. And that's it. And things can go back to normal, but you have to recognize like where all this shit stirring, bad mouthing, and basically Narc Pack behavior is coming from. And usually everybody knows, but they just don't know what to do about it. So I've just given you the tools. So I wish you a successful time of dealing with this in the future.